Welcome to another edition of Fragments of Rock, but this one is a little bit different because it's not music related, but it is someone who's kind of got like rock star status, really. Dad, who have you found in your garage?
Well, I was trawling through these tapes and I came across this. All that scrawled writing on it, there are the words Clough, 1978, November. And I remembered what it was all about. In November 1978, Brian Clough and Peter Taylor were having a testimonial match. They'd organised it for themselves. It was only to raise money for players. Why they needed to raise money for themselves, I do not know. Anyway, they organised a testimonial match, and tickets weren't going so well. So what happened was Brian phoned this house, and I was at work, so Kate picked up the phone call. And she said, hello, and he says, hello, Brian here. And she just thought it was a hoax. I mean, she was convinced it was a hoax, but she wasn't rude. Anyway, it transpired it wasn't a hoax. And Brian wanted to come on the programme and be interviewed. Now, that week, he'd already done quite an extensive interview on BBC TV. He'd also been on the radio quite a lot. And therefore, there wasn't a lot to go at that was new, I felt. So I said to him, when he phoned me back, I said, look, would you be okay with just asking the listeners to ask you questions? Yeah, fine. And this was, well, what you're going to hear now is the result.
Brilliant. And what we're going to do is it's such a rich kind of interview. We're going to make 4 episodes out of this.
That's
so
right, yeah.
So we can chunk it up, but also if people can make comments below on their Brian Clough memories, because this is about documenting social history. I mean, you've documented some in your book, Dad, but at the same time, it'd be good for other people to share their memories of Brian and the city ground at that stage. It's quite interesting, just to whet the appetite, when you talk about testimonials. I've got Les Brad's one here.
From that year, well, yes.
Yeah, and if you look at the squad, these testimonials were going on, and Clough appeared to play a pretty good squad. Peter Shilton, Viv Anderson, Frank Clark, John McGovern, David Needham, Kenny Burns, Martin O'Neill, Tony Woodcock, Peter Wiv, Archie Gemmell, John Robertson, Ian Bowyer. That was in the programme as their starting lineup. So it gives
you gooseflesh just to hear those names.
Yeah.
That's how the world has changed in that respect, because in those days the players would all turn up, and Clough obviously insisted on the full squad going out. We're not doing things by halves, but that was similar at Notts County. If you wanted Notts County players to do anything, they'd all turn up.
Yeah,
it's a different ball game now.
Well, Notts had Eric McManus, my hero, as you know, Dad, Pedro Richards, Ray O'Brien, Sammy Chapman, Brian Stubbs, David Hunt, Steve Carter, Dave McVeigh, Les Brad, John Sims, Mick Vinter. So
great lineup.
Yeah. What
was the result? Do you remember?
7. Oh God, I was 7. I can't remember. I can't remember what I had for my lunch, let alone what happened then. So yeah. So let's hear episode 1.
This is part of my program on BBC Radio Nottingham.
So Dad, where was this recorded?
I recorded it. I obviously put a tape. It was doing live interview. It was live transmission. So I obviously stuck a tape across just out of interest, because obviously anything Brian Clough said would be of interest.
And what was your program called at the time?
Roundabout, I think.
Roundabout. Okay, right, just to jog memories. Yeah. So we'll listen to the interview and then we'll get a few reflections at the end of it.
Sure.
Found note that an old age pensioner lost near the entrance of Asda. Well, the Anderson brothers and Chick Churchill have they've put together, and Mr. Jebson, they're going to replace that £5 note. That's a lovely thought. Thank you very much to the Anderson brothers, who of course were special guests on the programme earlier, and thank you to Chick, of course, and to DJM Records. That's a lovely thought, and we'll certainly pass that money on to that pensioner, Mr. Jebson. Sorry to hear about your loss. Well, now we can say a very good morning, or good afternoon now, to Brian Clough. You are there, aren't you, Brian?
Good afternoon, John, yes.
At the City Ground at the moment.
In a very, very cold position.
Now, the match this afternoon, can I start on that? Kick-off is 3 o'clock. I've had a lot of people wondering about tickets.
Well, there's a few seats available still. It's not an all-ticket match, so there'll be plenty of room, obviously, but there are a few seats left.
I'm sorry, Brian, I missed the last bit.
There are still a few seats available.
Now, as you know, we want to let listeners talk to you on the air because I think you've been interviewed quite a lot in the last week, and I should think there's quite a lot of points that they'd like to bring up as a result of those interviews. Is that all right?
That's fine, John.
Right, well, first of all, I have a Mr. Hamforth on the line. Are you there, Mr. Hamforth?
Yes.
Right, what's the question you'd like to put to Brian?
I'd like to ask Mr. Clough, how does he see his future at Forest in view of the statements he made in recent TV interviews? Does he see it as a short-term basis, or, is he prepared to stay at Forest probably till he retires?
Mr. Hanforth, thanks very much for the question. I've not even thought of retiring. I'm on a 4-year contract, probably, as you know, if you are a Forest supporter, are you?
Oh, yes, certainly.
You are. Have you been down all season?
All season, I've only missed one, Liverpool.
Good, I hope to see you this afternoon. I see my future with the football club, or with Forest Football Club, you know, as much as anybody else. I don't know what statements you're referring to on television. What I did say was, or the interpretation of what I said, was that, you know, I like to look at fresh horizons, and I did want to have a look at the American scene. I think that's a normal thing to want to do at my age, Mr. Hanforth, but at the moment, I'm so wrapped up in Forest, it's unbelievable, and I fully intend serving out the whole term of my contract.
Brian, I think what's worrying Mr. Hamforth is, of course, you did say in that interview that you had never had any offers from America. It rather implied that you may jump at one if it came along.
No, that's perfectly true. I've not had one single solitary offer from America, and it's always staggered me that if football's going to go down so well in America, why they're settling for failed managers and second best.
OK, Mr. Hamforth, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you.
Now we call up Reg Dukes. Reg, are you there?
Yeah.
Reg, what's your question to Brian Clough?
I'd like to ask him if he has got any affections for Forest in view of his recent statements on the television. Because he was quoted as saying, when he was approached by Derby County last season as to his affections for Forest, he says, well, I don't know about that. What is it at the moment? And at the time he did say that I can't see any champagne flowing anywhere, but there's been a lot of that flowing since that statement.
Yeah, and due to the players and due to us, Reg.
Yes, of course.
So what's your point?
Have you got any affections? Are you really emotionally involved as Forest as you was with Derby County when you was there?
I was emotionally involved with the team, yes.
But not with the town?
Not particularly, no.
Why is that, Brian?
Because I don't think that our town at the moment is doing us proud. On Saturday at the match, I've asked our dear crowd, you know, to behave themselves all season, and we've had a marked improvement. But the first time something goes wrong, as it did on Saturday, that we weren't scoring several goals, they reverted back to type. Now, there's no point in, you know, glossing over. We do have problems at the City Ground with our spectators, and I want to erase them completely. If they can't be well behaved and well mannered and intelligent people, now that we've won a league championship and a league cup, then I don't know when they will be able to be. And there was a lot of disturbances on Saturday after the match. We have aligned ourselves along with the police in Nottingham. I have personally. If somebody causes a policeman problems, they're causing me problems.
OK, Reg?
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Brian, can I ask you about Tony Woodcock, injured on Saturday? What's the latest on him?
Well, he's not too good. He's been out, as you know, for 4 games, and he felt he could play on Saturday. He'd not done a lot of training, but he went out and he had a slight reoccurrence of it. And with groins, they're very, very dodgy things. If you're not careful with them, it could be a 3-month job. So he came off immediately at half-time. We rang the Football Association to tell them he's not available for tomorrow night's match in the England under-21s, and it'll just be a case of time. He wants rest. He's had an exceptionally hard season, as everybody else has, and as I've said, groins are a very, very dodgy injury. You have to be extremely careful. He won't be playing this afternoon. I don't know when he'll be playing again. I would like him to have been available for the home internationals because he's obviously earned a choice, earned a chance actually to play for the full England side, and I feel if he'd have been fit he would have been in Ron Greenwood's squad, but we'll just have to wait and see.
And a lot of people go along with that, I think every Forest supporter, in fact, Brian. Robin Garland's on the line. Robin, what's your question?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to ask Mr. Clough what the average man on the terraces can do to support him in his fight against the hooligans.
Well, Robin...
So that I mean, that just shows what a skilled communicator he. What I mean, if he's going to teach how to do communication skills, he kind of he just deals with the general public in such a way, doesn't he? He's listening to them, and he's got. Yeah,
you wait to hear some of this stuff later on as well.
Yeah, well, no, I know which one you're talking about here, but I just wonder if that's where the gentleman no swearing, gentleman no swearing, please sign came from.
I can't remember when that sign came out. I'm sure ardent Forest supporters will know vividly when those signs were appearing around the ground. I'm sure.
Yeah. Just be interesting to get about memories of that. And there might, I don't know, it'd be really good to be able to share photos of all that if you've got permission.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so that's end of the episode 1. So.
Yes. So what do you think his answer was, you see? So in episode 2, we're going to find out what his answer is that you could do on the terraces to combat hooliganism. Also in this next one, he's going to talk about, this is a sign of the times, he's going to talk about family tickets, or he's going to be challenged about family tickets. What else is going to, also how safe the ground is for children, and the Jubilee Club.
Yeah.
Jubilee Club was very important in those days, because you could meet the players afterwards. They'd all turn up afterwards, the same as Centenary Rooms in Notts County.
Yeah, I remember the crowd booing. It was it Carter?
Stevie Carter, yeah.
Yeah, who was he'd gone down in the box, and everyone saying, our own Notts fans were saying, "Get up." And I remember meeting him in the bar after, and he showed me his shin pad, and it was broken in 2, and he had this massive gash down his leg. And the crowd had been shouting, "Get up!"
Yeah, I was. Go on, you big whatever.
Yeah. Just interesting. Yeah. So those are the days where you can meet the players in the bar after. Yeah, definitely that. Yeah, that was one of my probably first memories of Meadow Lane. Right. Anyway, I'm looking forward to episode 2.
Hooliganism. Yeah.
Yeah.